Every Texan has the right to defend themselves when they reasonably fear for their life. Self-defense is a protection that applies to each and every one of us. There are two sides to every story, and Karmelo is a 17-year-old kid and an excellent student. He is the captain of his track team. He is the captain of his football team. And prior to this, what was on his mind was what college he was going to go to. This is a tragedy all the way around for both families. We are confident that after a full investigation, that the truth will come out. Thank you.
Smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. Welcome to the Chesley Major channel, Chesley Major Media. I'm your host, Chesley Major, and we about to do a real major. Let's get into it. What's going on, fam? What's happening? Greetings, ladies and gents, majors and majorettes. Major salute to everybody who support the channel. Do me a solid before we get started. Go ahead, smash that like button, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can hear more content like this. Today on Chesley Major Media, I'm going to be discussing Karmelo Anthony and his bond reduction. Yes, his bond was $1 million. It has been reduced to $250,000. Now, as we know, the family has raised $410,000, and now he will be wearing an ankle monitor, and he will be able to go home once the process of being released is all final and squared away. Now, this is a tragic case for both families. I want to say rest in peace to the young man, Austin Metcalf. He lost his life at 17 years old, and it's really tough on anyone who loses a child at that age. At the same time, Karmelo Anthony, he's going through it with his family too. He's been at the county jail just stewing, sitting there for a little while now. And I know it's traumatizing because a 17-year-old, A student, headed to college, star player, he doesn't know anything about that world. And now that he's been injected into it, it's traumatizing. It's in his head and it's getting to him. So I'm glad that he is going to be released on bond, and he will be able to fight this charge outside instead of sitting in jail. Thanks to all the people that showed up and donated money to this kid, he'll now be able to attain a decent lawyer to help him fight this case. See, that really matters. So it's looking like he'll be released sooner than later. Because as we know, they raised that bond up high to $1 million so he couldn't get out. But the judge saw fit that his bond be reduced. So now we just have to wait and see what goes on next. The family has been getting a lot of death threats. And as we know, there's a big racial divide when it comes to this case. But here's what the DA had to say about his bond reduction. Check this out.
All right, there's not much I can say. The judge has made the call, and so what's important is what's next. Frisco PD will be finishing up their investigation. This is a terrible tragedy for our entire, not just Frisco, but Collin County community. One family has suffered a permanent loss. It's the most unnatural thing for a parent to lose their child. It's permanent, it's profound, it's certainly premature, and it's the hardest thing that I think a human being can go through is to lose their child. The Anthony family has had a different kind of loss, but not a loss nonetheless. But the judge has made her call, and we look forward to continuing the process and looking forward to reviewing all the facts of the case that Frisco PD is coming up with and presenting to a grand jury. What we're concerned about as prosecutors is justice, truth, and accountability. And so we will go where the facts lead us.
The security and the vitriol and just the safety even for the judge and your officer?
Well, this has definitely rocked our entire community. It has struck a nerve in the community, and it's hard for everybody to be level-headed at a time like this. So that's where we come in. It's our job to be level-headed, to be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it leads.
So you got a lot of conservatives and right-wingers who are highly upset about this. They wanted him to rot in jail, no bail, and get the death penalty. However, there are witnesses in this case, and there is video footage that hasn't come out yet. So they know things that we don't know. A lot of public opinion, and from what I get already from what I've been studying and researching, this is a self-defense case. This is a stand your ground case. Unfortunately, him being black, them folks don't expect you to stand your ground. But I disagree. Nevertheless, there are witnesses who saw everything that happened firsthand. Here's one of the witnesses who was actually on the scene with his daughters. Let's get into it.
Like crazy bad. Everybody trying to get back to their cars or get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra wet. Dude was sitting up under the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity. So I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So dude walks up. McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag and whatever. They went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, the dude that got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bro. It wasn't a school track meet. So he had the right to have a knife on his person, bro.
So there you have it. You heard it. Eyewitness account of what happened, what went down. Now, the Metcalf family, they've been on all kind of media outlets, social media, and yet this guy hasn't been interviewed by any of the media outlets. He had to take it upon himself to go to TikTok and put this out there, and I'm sure he's going to show up in court on behalf of Karmelo Anthony. As he stated, Karmelo was not the aggressor. Yet, all over the media, they're trying to vilify this guy. They're trying to make this kid look like he's some wild animal and he just went crazy and started poking somebody. That isn't the case. He had every right to defend himself, as you do too. Someone invades your space, put their hands on you. What do? No one can tell you that you can't defend yourself, and you should. There seems to be a lot of double standards here. But even your good old boy, Tim Pool, he disagrees. He had a lot to say about this case. I'm going to run the tape, then I'm going to come back to you.
If it was that, Austin Metcalf was with a group of guys and he shoved him, and then he said, touch me and find out what happens, and the guy grabbed him, you literally have a self-defense claim. Now, you can still argue manslaughter in that regard, that you don't stab a guy for grabbing you. But this is going to play at self-defense in a ton of circumstances, especially in Texas. It is not, this is not a statement on Karmelo Anthony. I'm going to say this generally speaking. It is not my responsibility nor your responsibility to determine the extent of force a person is willing to use when they make contact with you. Okay? That is some blue state garbage. If I am standing my ground in a stand your ground state and someone touches me, I believe you are the person who was assaulted. They grabbed you with force, with intent. I do not believe it is a responsibility of that person to then determine whether or not they are facing serious bodily harm or death. Do not grab and attack people. The problem with this story, Karmelo Anthony escalated it to an extreme degree, and that is going to play here. So he's likely going to get something, but I think they may be overcharging him. I reject wholeheartedly, especially from these libertarians, that a school says, you're not allowed to have weapons. Oh, spare me. Now the right is arguing he violated a weapon-free zone. I am playing that game. The argument here is, did he actually perceive a threat? You're going to get a jury. The jury's going to say, first-degree murder, he intended to kill somebody. They're going to say, no, it was about the thunderstorm. Police say so. He went to sit under the tent because he wanted to stay dry. The other students tried pushing him off. He didn't want to get wet. A physical altercation ensued, and he drew a knife and used it. The question that's going to arise in court is, did he have a legal right to do so? Well, I tell you this, the liberals are going to say, nope, it's a weapon-free zone. Carmelo's going to get in trouble. But if this were, look, the people that are coming out outright and just saying he's a stone-cold killer, I mean, Jack, I disagree. He was grabbed or shoved by an individual who was with a larger group of kids. Now, that's not bullying, but the defense will argue Karmelo became terrified. Here he is, surrounded by a bunch of guys he doesn't know, who then initiate a fight with him, and he warns them, touch me and find out what happens. He's telling them to back off. They then proceed to grab him, push him or touch him or otherwise, and so he stabs this kid, and the defense will say it was self-defense. Do you think a jury is going to buy that? Now, if the law is that you can't have a knife on school grounds, he might get first-degree murder for this. That could be the extenuating circumstance, for which I disagree. I don't live in a world where you can vote away our right to keep and bear arms to defend ourselves. And I believe that keeping to bearing arms includes knives. I do.
Yeah, that surprised me, because Tim Pool, we know which way he swings. At the same time, he's playing it right down the middle, trying to be fair, at least in this case. He's gotten a lot of backlash because of what he said. A lot of people unsubscribed from his channel. But Tim Pool doesn't give a damn. Tim Pool is already rich. He already got the bag. You got right-wingers and people on the left, and they're both saying they wish it was him who was taken out instead of Austin Metcalf. Wow, they switched up on him so fast. Yeah, all because he spoke the truth. Now we know they can't stand the truth. The truth hurts them. They live their life on offense. But all Karmelo Anthony was doing is playing defense, defending himself, standing his ground against two guys. Now, these twins are at least 200, let's say about 215, 225 apiece. These kids aren't little dudes. Me, myself, I'm 200 pounds. And they're my size, so I know they weren't little dudes. And they're at least 6 foot, 6'1". Two people coming at you, who knows what you'll do? Defend yourself is what you better do. Because who knows, if he would have got taken out that day, he just would have been gone. And it would have been justified. Like Daniel Penny, Kyle Rittenhouse, George Zimmerman. Yeah, all stand your ground. Now you have a clear-cut case of stand your ground and you're trying to tell me that this isn't? Yeah, okay. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think about Karmelo Anthony bond reduction from $1 million to $250,000. Get down in the comments section. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. I am Chesley Major. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.